The reassembly work is now finished on this velvet blue E46 M3 underside restoration to a concourse standard, better than factory original. And now we can go a bit closer and have a look at all these amazing applications, processes and refurbishing techniques which we've honed over the years, all come together and provide the owner with what is now like a nearly, if not better than new, drive-in vehicle. So there's three main reasons why we think these underside restorations are a benefit to the vehicle. There's one, the visual appearance, which is obviously we're very biased, but absolutely stunning. So it's going to look like better than a new car for many, many years to come. Secondly, the drivability of the vehicle, now knowing that every single rubber component has been replaced, ball joints, bushes, then we've got drive shafts, differential overhauls, brake overhauls, all those things which do wear over the years are now renewed and like brand new again. So going to make that car feel factory fresh. And then you've also got the longevity benefits of this application, whether it be the powder coating processes, the Zerkotech exhaust coatings, or the actual chassis corrosion removal work, and then re-sealing applications and cavity waxing. All those things are going to make this car absolutely outlast many others out there. And we know this is not for everybody. This obviously is a big ticket item, this process. It's anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks worth of work, depending on how corroded the vehicles are. But we absolutely love doing them and really pleased to be able to provide this owner with many years of happy motoring. So let's go and have a look a bit closer. I suppose first of all, look at the chassis and the overspray of the velvet blue on top of our E-coat, what we call the Reedish E-coat seam sealer finish. Brackets removed up here and the two behind the heat shield. Make sure there's no corrosion traps any longer up there. We've got all new heat shielding. That's the rear main one for the rear silencer, the centre under tray, and then further on down the manifold ones, which we're going to have a look at a bit closer later on. Exhaust hardware, all new rubbers, and I should say every bracket and fixing that was supplied to us, we've been able to zinc coat them as well, a secondary or better coating process than we believe the factory original ones come. So not only does it give it a great contrast colour wise, but appears to be a much longer lasting system than the BMW silver and black finishes that come on some of these standard components. So it extends to new plastics as well. So here we've got the one for the carbon canister and the correct, what we call the top hat fixings, which are these sheet nut metal clips. We've got trailing arms, which have been powder coated, and the backing plates as well. We don't just fit the new ones from BMW because the black coating, that cathodic paint, is very thin. So we powder coat those as well. The brake calips have been overhauled. That isn't a zinc finish, even though they almost match the other fixings. That is a premium gold finish. The lower arms are brand new. The upper arms are powder coated in what we call titanium silver, so that mimics sort of an aluminium finish, but won't oxidize like the original ones do, or be a rough cast any longer. It's now nearly smoothed off. Brand new genuine BMW drive shafts. Now those are back in production again. Rear shock absorbers and springs were also new when the car came to us. They hadn't driven, I don't think, more than 100 miles, so those were perfect to be reused. New ball joints on the lower section, new plastic covers, and then the camber arm fixings, the eccentric bolts and the washers. Brackets as well for the flexi lines, new BMW flexi lines. Then the brake pipes as well, the metal pipes. This is the one supplying the right rear circuit, which is up in here. You can also see the Reedish Motorsport new brackets up there for the fuel tank and the brake pipes as well. Then we've got the under trays for the fuel tank for the right hand side, the left hand side, the V-brace, the subframe or diff carrier, if you will, is actually powder coated as well. The differential's been overhauled as well, so that's new. Well, the case has been stripped apart to single components with the LSD and crown wheel and pinion taken out, media blasted and then painted as a bare unit, and then rebuilt with new bearings, new seals, new rear case cover which gets you the bushes at the back, new front bush that sits in the subframe, obviously new oil and filler and drain plugs, plus socket cap bolts around the outside, the differential LSD has been rebuilt as well, new clutches, drive shaft bolts and reinforcement plates, those are all in the zinc finish as well, even down to the most minor small bolts, however tiny they might be. The M6 bolts up there that hold those tiny brackets for the Xenon level system, and the M6 ones there, including the bracketry, new potentiometers, new arms, and look how nicely these articulate. I mean, these normally are completely seized and bent so much so that they come in to us completely in non-working condition, but those are fantastic. Anti-roll bar mounts up here have been powder coated, the anti-roll bar, the new mounts for the drop link, and then the pivot brackets are zinced as well. New fixing, new speed clip, let's get that right, new hose clips, and then also the fuel vent pipe and the filler pipe up there as well. Obviously anti-roll bar bushes and powder coated brackets as well, zinced hardware, all correct hardware as well. We don't go for anything non-genuine. We buy all these fixings, or if they've been supplied to us, like in this case where the owner supplied them all, they are all genuine BMW and correct. So these ones are the socket cap screw, the M8s for example. Subframe washers as well, those get powder coated, and then the bolts as well. You can see here, obviously before any of the reassembly work, you can see some of the chassis work that had to go on. We've got the Regis Motorsport V3 reinforcement plates, the underside plates here. So we've got a left rear and a right rear outline. A really nice light underside finish, similar to what would have left the factory with. We call it E-coat, but it's just a replica of the original BMW finishes that we see coming out from the transmission tunnel area, which is about the cleanest thing on the car. All the vent areas are all cleared out, so there's no cavity wax. There's cavity wax in there, but none blocking that section, nor is there any seam sealer blocking it up. That's a common mistake which some people make, and even BMW as well. Then we've got the centre exhaust section, which again is been done by Zerkotech, which we are a partner or distributor for. So that's looking fantastic. A heat resistant coating, which visually looks good and has a performance characteristic to it as well. So it retains the heat inside and passes it through the system rather than letting it emit heat. So the engine bay temperatures stay lower because we've got a manifold system done in that finish, which we'll see later on. It's very much similar to the right hand side. We've got all the same replicated on the left hand side. And then going down towards the centre section of the car, centre section heat shield, left hand side fuel tank sections, the under trays, the V-brace, mounting boxes which are all corroded before, have been previously been treated and then painted and resealed. Also the aquaplane guards, trailing arm cable clips all new, the cabling is fantastic, the zinced bolts and the powder coated cradles up there as well. Then look how straight those brake pipes are. These are all genuine new BMW ones, which such an attention to detail we find is really key and something we love to do. They come from BMW. Sometimes they've got little bends in them, or they're over nearly 4 meters long. So they come sort of with a big curve on them to be able to get them in their delivery vans and cages. So we have to straighten these out and then replicate them to the BMW clipping points that all go up in the correct location round the back of the fuel tank, and then come up on the left hand side just up there to supply the left hand side circuit, and then through the OEM joint section up there to then go across the axle and supply the right rear circuit. Fuel pipes, those were all excellent, stainless steel fuel pipes. We even zinc these fixings, so that's the attention to detail. We've got, these are the very thin sheet pressed fixings. We buy those from BMW and then send them for zinking, so they all match, and we've got that nice yellow passivated colour on them, which again contrasts against the black powder coated exhaust centre plates. So the fixings, new rubbers in the centre as well, and then centre fixings again a BMW, and the cats are looking fantastic, and the heat shields of the cats, again that's the same finish underneath, the performance black coating. Heat shielding on the left hand side as well, going towards the downpipe fixing area, and then standing back you can see the under tray for the gearbox and the fuel filter, and then the front edge of the wheel arch under tray, broken up by the contrasting aluminium front plate, which again is powder coated in titanium silver to mimic a sort of a aluminium finish, with those wonderful zinced bolts giving a great contrast again. And then going towards the front of the car, front under trays, which are the center under tray, and then the lower wheel arch liner sections here as well. Now the car came in with a new anti-roll bar on the front, so that was brand new, that was able to be reused, and new tie rods. So we've then carried on that process with powder coating the front kingpins or hubs, if you will, and also brand new backing plates. We powder coat those as well, just like the rears. The rears are too thin for us, so we get those ones powder coated, zinking even the small little ISA brackets up there, the cleaning of the pipes and any cables that have to be reused, the cavity waxing of all through the internal sections of the wheel arch area. Previously, if you watched all of the video, you would have seen that the engine was supported on a very specialist support arm process we keep, so we can take the cross member off, not only to powder coat that's the powder coated one, but then it gives us access to paint all the way around the chassis legs on the inside. So we've got the new control arms fitted here, with new anti-roll bar drop links, new front control arm bushes, the brake pipes routed correctly, even the green fixing that doesn't seem to be shown on the catalogue that you can't seem to buy. We keep those, clean those and put those back because that's all period correct. And then the green cable for the brake pad wear sensor sits in on the left hand side front caliper nipple cover as well. Similar to the right hand side, we've got a mirrored image of everything on this angle. The only difference being we've got a xenon headlight level sensor system up here. So the bracketry gets replaced, or the drop link area. You can see the little boxes, the wiring boxes that we replaced as well. The gentle blending of overspray from the body colour velvet blue, how we believe the OEMs mimic that at the factory. You can see the wheel arch liner in the distance, which goes all the way around the back of the struts. Struts came to us pre-fitted, they were brand new, so they was less than 100 miles, so those were able to be reused. And then you've got the xenon rest of the system that was replaced as well, so new potentiometer, new zinced bracket, and even the bolts as well, and the tiny little M5 bolts here that go into the plastic of the potentiometer. There isn't really anything missed out. The tie rods came to us fitted, pre-fitted, but those were almost brand new, again probably the same age as the struts, so those were able to be reused. We've slightly diverted the drain output for the expansion tank, because normally that lives inside the sort of chassis leg wheel arch area and therefore puts any overflowing water into that metal area, whereas we like to poke them through so that at least it's only going to dump onto the floor and not onto any painted material area. So that is the finished effect, and we're absolutely delighted with the process and how this has come out. Such a iconic car having an iconic finish, which is going to last more than the test of time. And we really hope you've enjoyed watching this process just as much as we've enjoyed carrying out the work over these weeks. And thank you again for watching. If you've liked this, please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to see any further releases of this type of work. And we'll join you on the next video. Thank you for watching.